Girl, did you hear? Nah, girl, what? Girl, did you hear?
Nah, tell me.
We started a podcast.
What? No
Yay!
way.
We're finally here.
We made it.
We did. We put up a couple teasers for everybody. We got some good engagement, so we're super excited to be here.
Yes, indeed.
My name is Kristen, one of the hosts of Girl, Did You Hear?
And I am Jessica, the other host of Girl, Did You Hear?
Something that we did want to talk about that we thought was really cool was I've been seeing a lot of butterfly effect trends going around of like, you know, what led you to get here, right? So we thought that would be a good way to kind of intro our show with you guys and kind of tell you like our butterfly effect story of, you know, how we got here, you know, both individually and separately, because we've got some history together and then, you know, even before that. So
They're such great paths.
so much stuff. So much stuff. So it's going to be super fun. We met initially in the auto industry,
Correct.
but we did not meet until like 2010, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get your start in the auto industry?
Well, one of my traits is that I'm really pretty easygoing. And one of the things I love is working with people, and being able to work on cars with my dad was one of my favorite things as a teenager. So I took that notion and put it to effect and went to school. And it was a lot of fun for me. I got really into it, and
That's
I've
so
just
fun.
been in the automotive I've been in the automotive industry ever since.
That's so awesome.
It's I was a technician for a little while. I wrote service for a little while, you know, served that customer service badge of honor.
Oh, yeah.
And
We all know about that.
that's where we met.
Yay! Customer service.
But it's just been like a long, loving grind of just helping people out, having a good time,
Yes.
messing around with cars mostly.
We had some great times in the auto industry. It's a pretty cutthroat business.
It is.
I started in the auto industry in 2005. I was young baby. I was 18, and I had just moved to New York. I lived in Long Island for a little bit, and I got a job at a BMW dealership. Actually, no, Mercedes dealership out there was the first dealership I worked at, and I was a receptionist. So from there, I went to BMW, also in New York. In 2009, I came out here to Colorado, also worked for BMW out here. And then in 2010 is when I went to Subaru.
Right.
So that's quite a little journey. However, through all of that, I swore that I was never going to write service because I saw so much already of like how cutthroat it is. I saw service advisors get fired over crazy stuff. Like, it was just insane. I was like, I am never going to do that. Plus, service advisors are on commission.
Right.
Based only. So, you know, they relied on the work that we sell. Like,
right.
as crappy as that sounds, we did have to rely on that work to, you know, make a living.
Right.
So it was just really cutthroat. And I was like, hell no, I am not going to do that.
Never
I
doing
am
that.
fine just being over here. But I did various things outside of receptionist, customer relations, loaner car management, all that stuff. But it's very cutthroat business. We've dealt with some crazy stuff in that business, I would say.
It's a rough start to go from, I mean, that whole beginning for me was coming from a technician standpoint, to where I'm working on the cars and trying to fix the complaints themselves, to my place of business doing an insurance review, and I can no longer test drive cars. So now my option is to get from behind underneath the hood and up front talking to the guests, because I'm so charismatic. That's the word I would use. No.
Is that the word they told you? Is that what they said to get you over the line?
That's not what they use. Honestly, it is a very lucrative position.
It is.
It is. You make a lot of really good money really easily.
You do.
And one of the things I liked about that job was that I do get to help people in a way.
Yeah. You know, one of my favorite things about working at Subaru was being able, I felt like our job there, our management and everything, and Subaru themselves, like corporate, backed us really well on helping out customers.
They did.
Like, we would have customers come in for like engines, head gaskets, and these are like, you know, anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000 worth of work on people's cars.
Right.
And we're having to tell people they're bringing their car in for something that they think is an easy fix. And we're like, I'm sorry, you need an engine. It's $5,000.
Right. Whoops. Well,
sorry about that.
so,
you know,
is
so
that
a lot
going
of
on
times,
the card
you know,
today?
we would have service advisors do actually have ability sometimes to do like what they would call like a goodwill repair. And essentially, you know, I mean, not every dealership operates that way, but ours was really good about that. And we would go to our service manager and we'd be like, hey, you know, this customer is a really good customer. They're here all the time. They need an engine. Is there anything that we can do on the dealer aspect of it to kind of help them out with that repair? And sometimes, nice. You know, they would allow us and we would pay for half of it. Sometimes Subaru corporate would come in and pay for the whole thing or offer like a split, which was really cool. And like, how many times would people like tear up? Literally,
I know. They're like, oh, you're just
or like hug
me.
us.
Yeah,
you know, like
they're so grateful.
It was so grateful. So being able to do that for many, many years and really help people out on that side of things, especially with their cars. Like,
right.
I remember this lady, and she was an older lady, and she was getting cancer treatments, and we had her car for like an obscene amount of time. It was probably like 2 or 3 months.
As the way that goes.
And she was in a loaner car, of course, because I knew that she had, you know, to go get her treatments and stuff. But when she came to pick up her car after all the work was done, I didn't tell her that I had called Subaru and like got a deal from them, went to our service manager, got a deal from him. So we had like combined deals and we got the price down to like less than half. Wow. For like an engine and like all the other stuff in her car.
That's a lot.
And when I
of
told
repair.
her that, she like broke down. And I think I probably cried as well.
Well, yeah.
But we've gotten hugs from people, you know, we've gotten gifts from people as thank yous and stuff, which is really, really cool.
But the crazy part, the flip side is that you are also catching people in their worst moment. Their car's not working. They're frustrated. Their mode of transportation is gone, yes. And they are upset.
Pissed. They are pissed.
And so the only person that they get to express these grievances to is the service advisor.
Yeah, we're on the front lines of getting the lashings.
It's so rough because you have to be gentle. You have to understand that this has got nothing to do with you, nope. Even though it may feel as if it's pointed in your direction, and you are only here to help.
Yeah.
So smile.
Smile and put on that customer service voice, yep. Because you got to get that good survey.
Those surveys were brutal.
Bro. I can't even with those surveys. You know what? Like,
essentially what
I think I am like traumatized. Yeah, same.
Yeah. I don't fill out surveys in real life. Like I am not, I do not know.
I do not do that.
Unless
However,
it's like good.
When I worked at Subaru, I did fill out good surveys when I went and got service places, like at restaurants. You know, they always ask for, you know, the little surveys. I always filled them out because I wanted good karma survey.
Right. That's smart.
Although I don't know if you get good karma for doing it with that intent, but no, like genuinely, if I felt like I actually had good service, I would take the time to fill out the survey for them because I knew how important they are. Yeah, so important. Sorry, my allergies are going crazy today.
It's rough, especially
spring
since
is blooming here in Colorado, and my allergies are going crazy.
The trees are,
yeah, they be doing something. So yeah, the auto industry is very cutthroat. Jessica and I both got let go from Subaru strictly based on our survey scores.
Well, I'm sure there were other things.
I mean, yes, obviously.
But that was like, it gets
but that was a big part of it.
It gets to the point to where it's like they need to have people who represent the brand at a certain level.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I was not representing the brand to that level.
Right. And neither was I. You know, which is, you know, fair enough. Like they did what they had to do on a business level, and I respect that.
Yeah, absolutely.
On an emotional level, it sucked.
I was already done.
Me too.
Like, I mean, one of the reasons why we left, I mean, because I am no longer riding service. You stopped riding service a long time ago, you smart lady, you.
2016.
Dude, I stopped riding it in 2021.
Yeah.
It's just such a lucrative position. It's hard to let that, they called it the golden handcuffs. It's hard to let that money go.
We've had some crazy shit happen though.
Yeah.
In dealership world. What's one of the craziest things a customer has told you when you worked there?
The craziest thing? I don't know. Those are hard.
I have one.
Do you?
Yeah, I'll
You
never
go.
forget it.
Keep going. Keep going.
He told me, so he was an owner. I remember this day very specifically. It was a Saturday, and skeleton crew Saturday at a dealership. He was an owner of another like random tech shop, whatever,
Right.
And they couldn't figure out the issue with the Subaru, so they brought it over to us. I tell him what's wrong with it. I'm explaining the whole diagnosis, everything. I can't remember what exactly it was at this point, but he was arguing with me about it. And he told me women do not belong in the auto industry. We belong in the kitchen.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Do you know what I said back to him?
What did you say?
I said, "Is that what you tell your wife?"
Oh, fuck. Rude as hell.
He crossed the line.
Dude, he did. And
He
to be
crossed the
honest
line.
with you,
And you know what I did?
it's not enough.
I
right?
said, "Okay. I'm sorry, but we're working Saturday here. We have a skeleton crew. I have nobody else here that can tell you what's wrong with it. So if you want to wait till Monday to talk to somebody else, that's fine." And so he did. And so I had already told our service manager. I called him like that day, and I was like, "Hey, this happened." There were more words exchanged between me and the gentleman. And I told our manager what happened, and he backed us, of course, because he was actually really good about that with customers.
Yeah.
Especially if they were being very rude to us and very condescending.
Yeah.
Because we're women in a male-dominated industry already. Like, we
Right.
don't need to be, like, told that we don't need to be there.
Looked down upon
Yeah,
or demeaned.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that guy was a dick.
I mean, starting out as a technician and being a female in the automotive industry was
Yeah.
a struggle. I mean, it wasn't a struggle. You have to learn to adapt really quickly.
You do.
You have to grow thick skin.
Very thick.
You have to be.
You have to have a strong backbone.
You need to be able to just roll with it because people are going to be messing with you constantly.
Yes.
I mean, not only am I a girl, but I'm new.
Right.
So I'm not the FNG and I'm a G.
Right.
You know?
That's hilarious.
But it was such a struggle to kind of wrap my head around this is how this is going to be.
Right.
Like, I didn't expect the princess treatment. Do not get me wrong, because I understand I'm working with a bunch of blue collar men
Right.
who have their very blue collar values. And this is, again,
And their ways of how things are
old.
done.
I've been doing this for a long time. I think it was we added up, it was like 21 years.
Yeah.
So I kind of grew up through the ranks, right? So of course you have to earn your wings, and then writing service, being a girl up front and talking to people on the phone and being able to know exactly what they're talking about, because I had that technical background. I'm like, yeah, no, I understand what an alternator does,
Right.
sir.
I can very clearly explain the process and what that is meant to do in your vehicle.
So if you would like to speak to someone else about this, please feel free.
Right.
But you're gonna get the same answer, or maybe even less information, because my favorite thing to do is overtalk a subject, especially
Same.
if I know a lot about it. And working on cars was so fun for me.
Yeah.
It was like, it's just this huge puzzle. It comes to you broken. You got to put it back together and ship it when it's complete. Like, it was fun.
Yeah.
And it's the twist of like, no, you don't know. You don't know.
The dark side.
How do you know?
You're
you
a
don't know.
You're a woman. You don't know anything.
I'm like, well, but playing dumb is fun.
You know what my favorite response was a lot to this is gonna make me sound like I was not a good employee. No, but I very nicely and respectfully and professionally, I would, be like, yes, you can definitely speak to a man about this. He's gonna tell you the same thing. One moment, please. Like, because people would say, I don't want to talk to a woman about my car. And I'm like,
Yes,
okay, fine. Here's the man. He will tell you the same thing.
Yeah. And I love that in our department we had backing. Like,
Yes.
all the men that we worked with.
Yes.
Were
All
like,
the advisors were very backing us.
just
our
knew.
service manager.
Well, because we knew our stuff. It's not.
And if we didn't know, we were not afraid to ask or hesitant to ask.
No.
Like, I would always be going out to the technicians and I'm like,
getting answers.
how do I explain this to the customer?
Right.
In a way that they can understand.
Right.
Because that was our job.
Right. It's
And if I don't
translating.
know, I'm not going to just bullshit my way through it. Like,
that's true.
you know what I mean? I'm going to have some knowledge about it. It's a good flex, though. I will say that.
It is. I always love when you tell people that you work in the automotive industry, the first thing they assume is that you sell cars.
Yes, all the time.
Like, there's so much more to that.
It's so much
There's
more.
so,
like, there's so much that operates in a dealership.
There's so many different departments.
Yeah.
Like right now I'm working in the warranty department. So like things like Goodwill, I'm very familiar with.
Oh,
and
yeah.
how the manufacturers step in and help sometimes in emergency cases. So
it's a great industry, honestly. Like if I would advise younger kids, you know, to like, you know, fresh out of high school,
look
like,
into it.
Yeah, like you know, boys or whatever that are into oil changes and into cars and all that, like get your foot in the door to in a dealership.
I mean,
as a lube tech.
For the most part, you have to be at least 18.
Yeah.
But it's a great way to, I mean, find your way into an industry that's not going to go anywhere.
No.
I mean, the automotive industry is going to be around for a long time. And I really kind of plan to just stick around until I decide not to be in it anymore. Because it'll always be there. And I love kind of bouncing around the different facets of it. It's just been.
Where do you think you'll go after the warranty department?
I want to go
You think you'll ever sell cars?
No. Ugh.
Let me ask, will you ever write service again?
No.
Me either.
You could never. You would have to pay me loads.
I know. So you know what's funny? So I haven't worked in the auto industry since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
If I walked into a dealership tomorrow and was like, hello, I have experience in the auto industry as a service writer. Are you guys hiring? They'd be like, yes, you're hired right now.
I can hire you.
Can you start tomorrow?
Yeah. I mean, they are desperate
like
for
if
people.
you go into a dealership and you say that you have experience, you will get hired on the spot. You're like a golden ticket.
It is. I mean, and that's the nice part, because I know that if I need to go anywhere and I have to get a job and like it's the only thing left.
Yeah.
I could do it.
When I first started working at Subaru, our boss hired me strictly because I had experience, but he had no job for me. He had no job for me. Remember? He put me in that little back office just like scanning all that paperwork that you guys were so behind on.
Yeah, yeah.
On the Acura side of our building.
The scanner position.
Yes.
Such
and I was a
position
scanner. And I worked by myself. I don't even remember how long I did that before I got moved up.
Right.
But as soon as a position opened up on the Subaru side, he offered that to me. And then that's how I navigated over to you.
Right. That's how we started, essentially. Dang. Remember that time in Kohl's?
Oh my gosh.
So way back in our baby days, Kristen and I love to shop, which is, I think, how women commute nowadays, really.
Oh, yeah, totally.
We have a local Kohl's that was in our neighborhood, and I remember shopping, and she was in the same department I was in, and I was like, wait a minute. I know her.
You're like, I know that girl.
She's too cool for me. No, I'm just kidding.
No, not even.
But it was like, we just didn't say anything to each other.
No.
We just like caught glances and just kept going.
Yes.
Like, I know that I'm going to have to say something to you at work eventually.
I know.
Right? And I had the perfect in with softball.
Yes.
But
well, because when I got moved to the Subaru side, they took me, I was booker, I think, right?
yeah.
Yeah, which was what the booker was you'd closed out all the paperwork from the technician. So paperwork went from the advisor to the technician, and then from the technician to the booker. I reviewed everything, input all their notes, got all their times, everything's paid, closed it all out, all that fun shit.
I don't even think bookers exist anymore.
I don't think so either. But that's
the days of bookers and cashiers are gone. The advisor's taking the brunt of the load.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
Well, even at Subaru, we didn't really have a booker all that much anymore towards the end. Like before we left.
Had to close our own tickets.
Yeah, we had to close our own stuff, which is whatever. I preferred to close my own anyways.
My fragrant spelling errors needed to be a part of every RO.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. We had such good times there though.
We did.
We really did. So yeah, our adventure started in the booker's office a lot of the times because you were an advisor.
Right.
And I was in the booker's office, so I just kind of like was in like behind you guys there.
Right.
Behind the front lines. And then you would always kind of come in and we would just like chit chat here and there. Right. Yeah. And then softball happened.
Right. The best first baseman I've ever had, ever seen. Do you remember?
So fun. I miss it. I miss playing softball.
And people were like, that's your first baseman? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's my
I
first baseman.
They're like, okay.
All right. I mean, so perspective wise, I mean, Kristen is the average female height. You're what, 5'6", 5'7" is
Yeah,
what I was going to say.
5'6".
I'm 5'10". So when you're playing a co-ed softball league, you have a lot of just normally taller people.
Yes.
And first base is a heavy, like, hot spot, right?
Yes.
People are coming at you.
You're
the ball's
there.
in chaos. Like, you have...
There's a lot going on first
man,
base.
Dude.
Do you remember how many times I would do the splits on accident
Just
to fucking get the out?
Yep. Dude, you were the best first baseman I've ever had in my
Oh my gosh. It was
so
so
few
much fun.
years of co-ed softball.
So much fun. I loved playing
I
first base.
loved our name.
Well swung.
Well swung.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was dope, dude.
It was dope.
My husband played with us for a little bit.
He did. My husband helped start the team with me,
Yeah.
so we played. He was pitcher, I was catcher.
Trevor was third base.
Third base. Yes, he was.
And sometimes he would like so Trevor's shoulder is messed up from, fighting and
Oh yeah, that's right.
life. Remember?
Right. Yeah.
And he can't, he's a lefty also, but he can't throw like overhand like normal.
So he has to like wing
So
it.
he would like sidearm it, remember? And then
Mhm.
sometimes he would like throw over and he'd be like,
Poor thing.
no, but softball was such good times, man. I would totally play now if I was in Colorado more.
Right.
I definitely would.
I miss that, just kind of that sit down every Wednesday night. You
Yeah.
went out and you did something.
It
You
was
just hung
so
out.
much fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, okay, so baseball in general was very like that's what I grew up playing.
Mhm.
Essentially, like that was like my dad and I's sport, I would say.
Aw.
I played all sports growing up. I was very
Right,
athletic.
same.
I did all things. But baseball was the one that I definitely stuck with the most and the longest. My dad and I'd be going to the batting cages all the time, and like it was very therapeutic for me.
Right.
Like as an adult, I realized it was therapeutic going to the batting cages. And I realized that when Jaden tried playing softball when she was really young
Mhm.
for a couple of years. I think she played 2
I
years.
remember that.
And I remember taking her to the batting cages, and it was like the first time that like I had been since we had played softball. And I was so excited to like get her into softball, and she enjoyed it for the time that she did.
Right.
But at the batting cages, bro, like I still had so much fun with her, like just there. I was like, I'm gonna get some balls, like give me that bat.
You're like, step out of the way.
Let me show you how it's done. No, but it's so much fun. Like I don't know what it is, but I just really enjoy it.
Yeah. I think out of all of the sports I liked playing, it was baseball
Yeah.
because your running was in spurts. You weren't running for like a really long time like
Right.
you do in like soccer or basketball
But you
or
have to
whatever.
run very fast.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Sort of fast.
yeah, well, you have to get there before the ball does.
Yeah.
That's the game, right?
Yeah. When I left Subaru, I got the push from my husband to start my photography business.
Such a creative career.
Photography.
Is that fake photography?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Faux.
Faux
Photography. Just
photography.
kidding. No, I was before I left Subaru, I was kind of dabbling around with it a little bit. Like we did a couple photo shoots. I did like the girls.
I remember our photo shoot.
Looking back on some of those pictures now, I'm like, God, what was I thinking? Obviously,
I
but like
should have worn black.
just starting out, there's a learning curve with everything.
Right.
But I really found a passion with it, and I still have my photography business. It is just not as busy right now since I'm not in Colorado full time.
True.
However, from like 2016 until we went to Florida full time in 2021, 2022,
2022, I think.
2022. So like 7 years, pretty
Yeah.
solid.
I mean, you have such a great eye for it.
Hundreds of people and seniors. I love it so much though.
Do you?
I really do.
What's your favorite part about it?
So when I started photography, I did everything. Like a lot of photographers will kind of just like pick and choose. Like I want to be just a wedding photographer or only families or only babies and stuff like that. At the time, because I was just starting out, I wanted to do a little bit of everything and kind of figure out
Kind of find your
Yeah,
groove.
like-
yeah.
where I wanted to be, right? So I just did everything. And I loved doing everything. Loved doing weddings. As I grew in like my talent and my craft and the creativity, I really found a love in doing high school seniors, because like they're such at like a pivotal time in their lives.
Right.
Right? Like I didn't have a traditional high school experience. So it's really cool to like hear their stories and like hear their plans, like for what they want to do, and
Where
like
they're going.
yeah, like it's just really cool, really inspiring, and just I don't know, super fun.
That is kind of a fun point in
Their
life.
photos typically aren't traditional portraits.
Right. You get
right?
to kind of express creatively
Yes,
in those.
exactly.
Right?
So my
You're not just,
creativity is free reign
right.
when it comes to that. So I enjoy it very much.
This is like the most in front of a camera I think I've ever been.
I know.
Since my parents stopped videotaping me as a child.
So yeah, we've kind of like tiptoed around and little things outside of photography. So the reason I'm gonna kind of backtrack here for a second. The reason why I split time in Colorado and Florida is because my husband has a YouTube channel, and we also film with his partner Pat, who also has a YouTube channel. So I am one of the producers for their channels for Patty Mayo and then Fox Recovery. And so with doing that is where I kind of found like another little passion in like production and, filming and, content creating essentially.
Right.
More so I think is kind of where that lands. And I think I don't know, it's cool. It's different. I think it's really interesting to kind of just like put yourself out there.
Right.
I think.
Right.
And just let the trolls have at it.
Do you think that being behind the lens as a photographer kind of helped lead you into production? Or do you think there's really no overlap between photography and then being behind like a video camera per se?
I mean, to me, and what I do for video is completely different than what a lot of photographer and videographers would do.
Right.
Right. So I know a lot of photographers that also do like wedding videography, which would make sense because they can switch between every time.
No.
They're completely different. We never really know what's going to happen because our show is not scripted. The show's,
That's the best part about it.
It is. It's not scripted. Everything is just, it's like we give them like a little circle to stay in of like rules and a scenario, and we just let them free. We're like, here you go. See what happens. It's great. Because we never know what's going to happen either.
Right. How it's going to transpire.
The production sets the scene, but nobody knows really what's going to happen. Like the sheriffs in the show don't know what's going to happen. The talent doesn't really know how the sheriffs are going to approach the situation for them. So like filming it is very exciting because we're always like we're just as surprised.
Yeah, you have no idea what's going on either.
And the fact that it's not, the same every time.
Right.
Makes it nice.
Nice.
And we get to be creative in the scenes that we, the scenarios and stuff that we create for them.
Right.
Which is really cool. Sometimes Raven and I we try to like mess with the guys a lot.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Play tricks on them.
Right. Right.
Outside of the warranty box that you live in the auto dealership world, love you.
The warranty box.
The warranty box.
That's what I call it.
What else do you in your hubby like to do?
Like I said, we're very car centric, so there's a lot of projects in the driveway at any given time. My husband is a car enthusiast. You're allowed to be. It is terrifying.
What made you get over that hump of being not terrified of it?
Something's going to kill me eventually.
True. I mean, yeah, fair enough. You know
Well,
what's
I'm such a cautious person. I like to take I almost feel like I'm scared of everything, but I'm not. I walk into everything with this sense of caution.
right?
And one of the things I love about riding motorcycles is that you stay vigilant the entire time you were on
Yeah,
that
you're
bike.
like fully aware.
You are focused. You are lasered
in the
in. You are paying
moment.
attention to everything that's around you because it's not something that you are going to do that's going to mess you up.
No.
It's something else outside of your riding environment that's going to
Yeah.
take you down. So you stay hyper vigilant. So that to me is almost like a little adrenaline shot, staying
I get
vigilant.
that. Yeah, for
and
sure.
then just the freedom of no doors, no windows, no cup holders.
Right.
I'm not like, I can't be distracted on this thing. So I am focused and it is fun.
Do you guys have the comms in your headphones that you guys wear or no?
Mm-mm. We haven't got that fancy. There's no cameras or anything either. But yeah.
But you ride a Harley though, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's badass.
Oh, I love it.
See, I mean, I love speed.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't really?
Right,
I mean,
right.
everyone likes it a little bit. Come on now. No, but I do. I love to go fast. Like, so being on a motorcycle is not like I'll ride. I mean, not far because it sucks riding on the back of a sports motorcycle.
Oh, yeah. That's not the most comfortable
enjoyable.
position
So,
to be in.
all you girls out there thinking you're looking cute on the back of the motorcycle,
You do look cute.
You do look cute, but I know it's uncomfortable, girl. So, I got more power to you. More
I
power
know
to
how
you.
numb your butt is.
Yes, and
But
like the
good
way you
job.
have to like sit
Yeah.
on there,
Just
like it's not comfortable for the lower regions. I'm just
No.
gonna say that.
like you get this
You
weird
have like
like
this.
kink in your back.
Yeah, it's not good.
And you are holding on to that
Yeah,
as tight as you can.
and I don't like that you can't see.
no.
I want to be able to see, and I think that's
You gotta
probably like
drive.
my problem.
Yeah.
I think it's my problem. But I would think I would feel more comfortable learning on a Harley than I would a sport bike.
Mm-hmm.
For me, what makes me the most nervous, honestly, is not driving one on the road, like not dying in an accident, like nothing like that. It's the fact that the bikes seem so heavy to me
That's
that I
fair.
want to be able to control it if I had to.
That's fair.
And I feel like I can't even straddle the bike and stand on my tippy toes.
On your flat feet.
On my flat feet.
Oh,
I have to be on my tippy toes.
dang.
And I feel like the bike is very heavy
Yeah.
in between your legs like that when you don't have a solid base.
No, that's
Because I'm
hard.
just a little thing. I'm sorry. I'm a little person over here. You know, but like, no, like
tiny first baseman.
tiny first baseman.
But that's, I mean, I can
just
understand
didn't feel
that.
like solid enough that like,
Because I've gotten on some bikes and I've felt like, because you can feel the weight between your legs.
yeah.
But
yeah.
you kind of get a sense for it. And if it feels heavier than you, I mean, I
Yes.
know it's always going to be heavier than you, but that's more of like a sensation.
Right.
You almost feel like you can't control it because once you're on those two wheels and everything's spinning, any little input you put in
is
reciprocated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like any lean or anything, the bike is going to feel that and adjust to you, and you also have to
So
you have
if
to know what you're doing.
Feel it's too heavy. You
Yeah.
don't have control.
I don't have control.
Mhm.
I don't feel comfortable
We'll
with it.
find you something small enough.
I know. I
It's
need like
fine.
a little, a little dirt bike
There's
or something to like
Plenty of
learn
people
on.
out there.
Because
who-
I've seen girls my size on bikes before,
All the
so I
time.
know that I can do it. It's
Yeah.
just like
you gotta find the right one.
find the right bike
It's
to learn
just
on.
it. Yeah.
Anybody out there that has any recommendations, let me know.
My husband and I just really love to kind of just chill. Really, there's not a lot of things that
You guys live a very chill life.
we do, and that's great.
It is great. I
love
admire it very
I
much.
100% love it. Like we travel, we work on the projects at home, and we just we work on the house a bunch. I mean, that,
Yeah,
I think
you
is
guys
one
do
of
all
the-
kinds of crazy projects.
One of the fun things about owning a home is upgrading it.
It is.
My husband's like this amazing carpenter guy. He just has this vision in his head, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna decorate our porch like this," and then just builds this whole beautiful privacy fence.
You're like, where did this come from?
It's amazing. I love it, and I mean, it's such a neat addition.
Yeah.
To such a cool space.
He is pretty crafty. I've seen some of the stuff that you've done at your house, and I'm like, what? Chad did that?
Absolutely. He just recently made us a bed frame, which is the coolest thing ever.
What?
Yes.
I'm gonna need to see pictures of this.
Yes, I will show you. They're
Show
great.
me. We'll share them with you guys too on the show. I'll pull them up on the screen for them so they can see.
It's Well, because when you go and you buy your bedroom furniture, and unless you have a bed that specifically needs this sort of bed frame, you're stuck with this thin particle board. Like, it's not even worth putting any sort of weight on. And I am not a little girl. Like, there's a lot to me. And I can't get into something and then have like the whole room shake.
Right, like each time that you go to like reposition in bed, it's just the whole bed is just moving around.
Yeah. And then can you imagine what that's like during like
sexy time?
Dude, it's distracting.
Stop the bed.
Like, you're doing your best to like leverage your weight against everything in the room, and it just doesn't help. So he took it upon himself to design and build us this beautiful bed frame, and I love it.
That's
it's got
so
like
funny.
a little shelf for the remotes, like a place to clip fans to keep you cool in the summer.
That's dope.
Dude, it is. I'm super impressed. I geek out about it all the time.
I'm impressed too, actually.
Yeah.
Go Chad.
Yeah.
Good job, guy. I dig that.
He's a good man.
Yeah, he is. We live a not so busy, not so relaxed
not
life.
so chill life.
Not so relaxed life.
The fact that I am so low key and chill and not doing that much makes up for everything
all of my
that you
busyness?
do. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do a lot. So we film in Florida
Yes.
for our YouTube channels.
My heart breaks every time.
And then we come back to Colorado once a month
Mm-hmm.
to film our podcast, as well as Trevor and I have our family and our house here and our kids and our grandbabies. And we're here this weekend for one of the grandbabies' birthdays.
So cute.
Yes. Yes.
So many
So many parties.
So many parties.
Dude, our blended family is so big. We have a birthday almost every single month out of the and then, but we all hang out, we all get along, we do
so
everything
great.
together.
Like, I love that that's
it's so cool.
cohesive. Yes.
Today, Junior.
No.
Yeah, so we live a very busy life.
Right.
In Florida, we live in an RV as well.
It's like a tiny home on wheels.
Yeah. And then we come to Colorado to our house.
Which is large enough to have our studio in it.
It is.
So that's saying something.
It's in the basement. Would never know that. Yeah, no, I actually really enjoy RV life. It's so different because you have to become like a minimalist.
Very much so.
Very much so. Which is very easy for me, not so much Trevor.
Really?
That man sometimes. He just like
all the extra things.
He needs all the things.
I get it.
20 of them.
So I feel Trevor's spirit.
20
I'm the
of
same
all
way.
the things.
Yeah.
No, but
you gotta have a backup for the backup.
We do, yeah. But in all fairness, so we live in the RVs, but we film for these shows. So we have all the gear, for the shows, which is a sheriff show. So we have, tons of gear for that.
Right.
We have trailers that we tow behind our RVs that have a lot of the gear in it as well.
Right.
And then we have, all of our camera equipment and stuff. So, and then scuba diving equipment. We have a lot of
it is a varied
equipment.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
That's insane.
Yeah. But it's pretty dope. Our RV is pretty cozy. And the RV parks are pretty chill.
I've always wondered what RV parks are like.
It's cool.
Like, do you have a lot of people that just like come and go, or do you have a lot of
yeah.
people that just live there?
Well, both.
Really?
All of the above.
All of the things.
All of the above. So, the one that we're at right now,
Mhm.
is, I almost said the location. I can't do
would
that.
not.
No. Don't do that. People already find us enough,
Right.
as it is. We don't need any more people finding us. No, I'm just kidding. The one that we're staying at right now is really big. They have a 21 plus section. So there's like no kids allowed on that side, which is really cool. And then they have like the other section is like their normal, whatever. So there are people that live there full time. There are people that come in and just, traveling through the areas. A lot of the people that lived or stayed in the 21 plus section that we're in right now, a lot of them were snowbirds. So they've already gone back to like Ohio
So
and
you
like
have
the
the whole
northeastern
section to
states.
yourself.
Yeah, so it's pretty empty right now. because a lot of the snowbirds have left, but
Right.
they're there most of the time, all through the winter, which is where we've been with them for most of the winter. So we've made friends up there, but they're all, like retirees, and like it's so cute because all of like their little RV like spots,
Yeah.
all of them are retired couples, and they're all probably like in their 60s, 70s, and they're all super sweet. They're out having bonfires, partying, drinking, like having a grand old time. There's shuffleboard that they play. We have pickleball, like all kinds of activities for them. There's bingo there every night, every week. Pigeon racing.
Pigeon
Bro.
racing?
Let me tell you about the pigeon racing.
Oh my God.
This is a funny story. So one time Trevor and I were at the RV park by ourselves before Pat and them had met us up there.
Right.
So we decided to do that weekend all of the RV park activities. So we did bingo one night, which was really interesting because they have it at the lodge. And we got there like 5 minutes before it started, because why would you go to bingo earlier than that?
Right.
Like, bro.
But you got to get to bingo early.
You got to get to bingo early.
Really?
We walked in and it was packed. And I was like, oh my God.
Where are we going to sit?
I looked at Trevor. Yeah, I was like, we're going to have to sit with strangers. Oh no.
Of course.
I know. The worst thing, right?
Right.
That him and I both don't like, really.
Just being crowded
Yeah.
in people. Yeah.
So we found this table in the back corner area with this nice couple. And I was like, do you mind if we sit? And they're like, no, of course. So we played bingo, which was really fun. You win just like little bits of cash, nothing crazy. It's all about the experience though,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then the next day we did pigeon racing.
Practice for later.
The pigeon racing was hilarious. So they have, the pigeons where you send them off
Yeah.
in the sky.
Homing pigeons.
Homing pigeons.
Yes.
Yes. And then they do their thing and they come back.
Yeah.
So we go to like where it's at, and this is all within the RV park. It's a huge place. So we go to like where the chicken coop is at, and we're like, yeah, we're here to do the pigeon racing. They're like, cool, it's $5 a pigeon. We pay. And then they're like, okay, step into the coop and go and pick out your pigeon. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like I want that one.
Number 6.
And he's like, okay, go ahead and grab it.
Mm-hmm.
Of like big swarms of things. I don't know like where it came from or why I have it, but I don't like things flying around me like that. Like I don't like big swarms of things in like one cluster, like ant hills. Like seeing all of the ants moving around like that, I don't like that. Like a big huge swarm of birds in the sky when they're like flying around together, I don't like the way it looks. It just freaks me out.
Fair.
So here we are in this pigeon coop, and they're like
surrounded by birds.
Trevor and I are both in there, and we're like, what the hell? We have to catch one? Like, are you kidding me? And we're just like cracking up. And so I'm trying like all the methods, right? I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna man up. I'm gonna do it. And so I try to like sneak up, like the sneak up approach.
Yeah.
It did not work.
No.
As soon as you like even start moving towards them, like slowly, they just
flutter
fly
off
and like cluster away, and you're like, oh my gosh. So finally, like after a few attempts of just trying different things, Trevor got one, and I was like, oh hell no, like I need to get one now. Like I felt myself getting to that point where I was like, I need to get one or I can't do it, you know?
Right,
and I was like, I want to do it. Like I wanted to overcome like the fear, whatever, right? And there was like, so the way they were up like on like these little ledges, like inside the pin, they had like these ledges up against the wall. So they were like up like high, and they were all staying like together, right?
Right.
And so finally I just like went to like grab it. I was like, I'm just going for it. Like there was no hesitation. And he went to like fly, like take off from like his little post. And I like grabbed him like in midair, and I was like, bam, like 2 hands. And I was like, oh my God, I got him. And I was like, I didn't like know what to do at that point, you know, because I like had it in my hand, and I was like, he's like, he's trying to move. Like, where do I take him now? They're like, put him over there. And like you put him in like this next little
staging
area for them to be sent to fly or whatever. So, but then they do like the place, like first, second, third place, which those ones happen really quickly.
Oh yeah.
They're like there and back. It was only like a mile that
Right.
they went. Like they didn't send them far, right?
Cute.
But then there's some of the pigeons obviously that take a lot longer to find their way back.
They're new at this.
They are. They call them the pokey pigeons.
Oh.
And guess what? My
No,
pigeon
you got
was the pokey pigeon. No joke, bro. And I got a fucking medal for it.
Hell yeah.
And it's hanging very proudly in our RV. And I love it so much.
The pokey
It's such a
pigeon
great
trophy.
It was such a great experience.
I love this.
It was so funny. It was so funny. Just a random thing that you would never think to do, right?
Dude, like being able to explore your surroundings like that is unreal.
Yeah, so we had a blast doing all the little activities. The only thing we didn't do was karaoke because I do not sing in front of people like that.
I think I'm brave enough for karaoke, but I am not.
I would like to do it. I wish I could sing. Like if I could trade a talent to sing, I would.
Yeah, there's not if you handed it to me in a bucket, a tune,
Yeah.
I'd drop it. I can't.
I drop it.
I can't
You're like,
carry it.
no.
No. I like to think I can sing, like in the shower, or
Oh,
alone
yeah.
in the car.
Oh yeah.
Just I'm belting out.
Me too.
Just
Me too.
crazy stuff when
I
people are
connect
like,
like
really?
look at that. Lady. I connect so well with music, and to me, like singing is such like a vulnerable thing
Mm,
in a sense. Like that's how I interpret it and feel it,
right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I could hear people sing and it could literally bring me to tears sometimes.
Same.
And like I don't know why that is. Like maybe I'm just a sap. I don't know. But
No. Do you know that we're special? Supposedly there's
really?
I can't remember if it's like a chemical in our brain or just the way that we're wired. Because I'm the same way. Like if I get a good song, it'll give me chills.
Yeah.
Like if I hear, or like a good song to me, I understand perspective is key here.
Obviously, right.
But like if I'm like really listening to the lyrics of something and it like emotes with me, like
Yeah.
I feel the music. I know
Yeah.
that sounds so blasé, but it's just it like I get into it. Like I start to cry or I'll get like goosebumps.
Yeah.
And it's like
I think a lot of
I
people
love
feel
that
that way
feeling.
for sure. I also
no,
love
they
that.
don't.
Really?
People don't feel that way about music. Not everybody does. Like
no.
the
I
fact that
think-
we get emotional over it is the special part.
Oh. Well, I must be reading that
Because
way wrong.
people do enjoy music, and then they do,
They do,
feel
yeah.
a certain way
Yeah.
about it, but they don't
They may not
tend
cry
to
about it.
cry. Which is oh,
Well. That says a lot about our psyche. Like not cry. Like
I see what you're.
crying.
Yeah, no, but
Like,
you
I
get
can
that
get-
response.
I could get teary-eyed. Like
yeah,
if I see someone singing or performing anything, like performing or whatever, and I can like see them like in the moment, like
Ooh.
in their like you
Yeah.
can see their emotion
mm-hmm.
through their performance. That's what makes me
You
emotional.
piggyback off that emotion.
Like I feel the emotion.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Also, it's very strange. Like when Jaden played volleyball,
Mm-hmm.
whenever if she like made a mistake or like missed a hit or whatever, I would get teary eyed because I would feel her like
Oh my god.
frustration from it,
Right,
you know.
right.
Or if she like hit a nice dig or had a kick ass serve or something, and she was so like, excited, like any extreme excitement or extreme like frustration or sadness, I can feel it
Yeah,
like literally, and it will
yeah.
literally bring like tears to my eyes.
I feel that in my
It's so crazy, bro.
stomach, and it pulls on my tears. Like I can feel that emotion coming on. For me, it's admiration. If I know.
No, but I can see that though. Like,
But like if someone's like, "Oh my gosh, good job. You're doing a great job." Like
Yeah.
I start to emote for that person because I'm like, "Oh my god, yes, you did do a good job."
yeah,
And like I ride that wave, and it's just
Yes.
it's fun because emotions are feelings. But It's also kind of a hindrance sometimes
It
because I'll
is.
just be having a day scrolling through my socials and then I'll catch like one like either sad story or something just pulls at that
Yes.
tear duct. I'm like, ugly crying in my office at work is
So
not
ridiculous.
good.
I cry in movies all the time.
Oh, same.
Even when I was a kid, though, like I would cry in movies all the time.
Littlefoot's mom death made me
Yes,
cry
like
every
all the
time.
Disney movies I cried in. I could watch those movies now and cry. Then I watch movies with my grandbabies and I cry in them.
Aw.
I remember watching when I first came into the girls' lives, my bonus daughters, when they were still little, and we would watch movies together. I didn't want them to think I was weird whenever I would cry in movies, and I would try to hide it so bad.
You know how hard that is?
Yeah, like I would try to like wipe my little tears, like not make like the, like,
right.
but like
Meanwhile,
sometimes
like
like
snotches
like those
running
like
out of
family
your
movies that you watch, sometimes like they just bring up emotions or
Yeah.
like they trigger something or you're just relating to the emotive that's being expressed in the movie or whatever,
Or
right?
the person did a good
Yeah.
job making the movie
Exactly.
and got to you.
They got to you. Yeah, well, or I'm just
Super
emotionally,
sensitive.
yeah, very sensitive.
That's okay. You're
No,
allowed.
I am a very sensitive person.
But that is a good quality to have. I think a lot of sensitivity has kind of been lost in people as of late.
I agree with that.
So, if that makes me a little whiny crybaby, that's fine.
You're such a crybaby.
I know. I'm about to cry right now.
I know. Talking about the crying's gonna make me cry.
I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. No, I'm just.
No, on a happy note though, this is really cute. It's similar to what we're talking about. We were at Costco earlier today, and I saw this family, and they had 2 boys. One of them was probably like 12, and they had a younger boy, and he was probably like 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
And he had Down syndrome. He was so cute, and they were looking at this like water activity table, like for like the little kids.
Yeah.
And the parents ended up getting it for the little boy. And the little boy that had Down syndrome, he was so excited. And like I witnessed like this interaction, right? I was like just standing there like looking through my list and I was like watching. And the look on his face made me cry. Like I got teary-eyed for it because he was so genuinely happy
Right.
that his parents got him this water activity table.
Right.
And I was like, look at his face. Like, that is just so sweet. Like, he's so happy. I just, like, felt his happiness. I don't know. Like, maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't know.
Are you so depraved for happiness that you just leech it off the little kid getting his water table?
Maybe.
No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe that's it.
It's hard. It's like it's fun.
No, I
It
enjoy
is.
like it's cool when you get to see stuff like that.
Yeah. Because most of the time nobody's paying attention to stuff like that.
No.
Like nobody wouldn't have noticed that. Like
No,
they're
most people would not have.
I mean,
No.
we're all just in our phones or in our
Oh, yeah.
list or just in our own little world.
I am one of those people who I do try to pay attention to a lot of things all the time.
Situational awareness.
All the time.
Yeah.
That was something that my dad like ingrained in my head to be like situationally aware. However, I am very aware just like in the store, when I'm out in public around
Mhm.
other people.
Mhm.
Like I think it's a common courtesy thing to just like be aware of your surroundings or like, if I'm pushing my grocery cart down the aisle and people not like in the airport too, especially. Woohoo!
That's the most frustrating place.
Girl, did you hear?
How frustrating that airport is.
Fuck. No, for real though, the airport is so frustrating. So many, and I understand. Obviously, not everybody's the same. If everybody operated the same, the world wouldn't be the way that it is.
It wouldn't be any fun.
Obviously, we wouldn't have people to talk crap about. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, it's like we wouldn't have all these things, right? We wouldn't have different perspectives, whatever. But it is a huge pet peeve of mine when people are walking through the airport on their phone, not looking where they are going. Because countless times I am the one paying attention and avoiding the collision that they are about to have with me because they are not paying attention.
Why do those people need to have situational awareness for you, though?
why are they walking through the airport on their phone, not paying attention?
Maybe it's their first time in the airport. Maybe they don't know how to navigate this.
I mean, it's possible, but
maybe they're reading the latest love story on the internet. I don't know. Like, I totally get what you're saying, though. It's the fact that they're distracted.
right.
But the fact that they're able to go into that amount of distraction and continue a forward momentum, A, is kind of impressive. But B, they don't care about you.
No, they don't give a fuck about me. That is very apparent.
Them being in your way.
Right,
Like,
no, they don't give a fuck about me.
They don't have that periphery.
They
right?
don't care.
No.
See, I don't like to be in people's way,
Right.
obviously, so I am aware. However, okay, let me backtrack for a second. To me, there's two people there's one person that can be on their phone,
Mm-hmm.
walking through an airport, navigating perfectly fine without any people collisions or anything like that.
Right.
Then you have other people who cannot do that. Those are the ones that I am
those
referring
are the ones
to.
you got. Yeah. The
Those
newbies,
are the ones
not the pros. Yeah.
that should not be doing two things at once.
I see what you're saying.
If you see
The
what I
people
mean.
who can't talk
Right.
and chew gum.
Yes.
I almost couldn't get that out.
Yeah, let me think about that. Yeah, it's really annoying sometimes being in the airport with people and from
slow walkers.
slow walkers. Those ones get me too.
I mean, I got long legs and they travel fast.
I walk fast. I lived in New York for 5 years. You've got to
I'm
fucking
going.
hustle.
I'm going. Right?
We hustling.
You don't stop.
We, you know, what's interesting though, that changes the airport perspective and the experience is when you travel with your service dog. People tend to get out of your fucking way.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Whenever we travel with Vinny, they, well, it draws a lot of attention,
It does.
obviously, because
So people are looking out for you.
people are looking at you. They're, you know, if you like, as we're walking to our gate and just, you know, navigating through the airport to get where we need to go,
Mhm.
people are constantly looking, you know, at us and moving out of our way.
Right.
More so than when we do not have her with.
Do you think it's because like you are just two people in the airport and you're blending in with all the other
Probably.
just people in the airport, but when you add that extra element free, I would like. I mean, because I know
Scurry.
it's like I wouldn't run to the other side of the sidewalk. No.
Get away from me, dog. No,
But no, I mean, I would give space because a lot of the times I'm thinking of like a service dog, you know, is this person blind? Like, you know,
what's
the reason for the service dog? I
Exactly.
know you don't like approach these dogs.
Right.
You know, you typically don't pet them because they're always working.
Yes.
And it's really out of matter of respect.
It is. So we get a lot of attention, you know, from that aspect. So it's beneficial. And then, but sometimes also people are not aware of like service dog rules,
Mhm.
or sometimes when we get to the gate, you know, I understand traveling with with kids is hard. I almost said traveling with parents is hard. That
Traveling
too.
with parents is hard.
Yes, that too. No, traveling with kids is hard. I get that.
Right.
Trust me, I do. However, be aware. You know, like we've had situations where we've had Vinny and you know, in a downstay by us, and people's little kids are just running around with food, and I mean, obviously Vinny's a service dog, so she's not going to.
She's like trained to
not to react to those things.
Right.
However, there are still certain things that you do not do to dogs,
No.
and you don't tease them and run back and forth with them with food.
No.
And I mean, you shouldn't be letting your kid run around, you know, the airport gate area, you know, just let them do whatever. But we've had a few situations we've had to like say. To me is what it is. Like I would not bring one of my grandbabies toddler, you know, one of our toddlers on vacation, and then if there's a service dog, like put them, you know, I just wouldn't put my kid in that situation
Right.
either.
You would choose different seats to sit at.
Exactly.
Right.
Like I would choose not to sit by the dog. But a lot of times the kids are like, oh my God, it's a dog, you know?
Yeah.
And so naturally they want to sit by the dog.
Right.
And we're like, okay. Luckily, Vinny's the best girl, so.
She's such a cutie.
But it is interesting traveling with the dog, that's for sure.
Man, I don't travel well at all.
It
I'm just
adds
a bundle of
adds
anxiety.
another stress to the stress. It does. Like I love
Well, yeah,
Vinny.
because it creates a whole nother situation you
Well,
gotta
because
pay
you have
attention to.
another thing you have to bring through the airport with you that is nonverbal.
How does she get through security?
Trevor will put her, like, he has to walk through first. He puts her in like a sit stay, you know, from outside, from the other side of the
machines.
Yeah. And then he walks through, and then we have to take her e-collars and stuff off.
Right.
And then then he calls her to him.
She rolls through naked?
Yeah. And then she comes to him, and then we put everything back on. They usually give her a little pat down, usually, if she has her vest on.
That's wild.
I know. Pat down the dog.
Well, drugs could be anywhere.
Drugs could be anywhere.
No, it's not drugs. Sorry.
I mean, you never know.
Explosive devices
Explosive
could
devices.
be anywhere.
Yeah. She could not carry explosive devices. She would smell them. I'm just kidding.
She's the reason why there's no explosive devices.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, people just are not aware sometimes, and it's really annoying to me.
Mm-hmm. It's just like you said in the shopping cart situation, like people who just like in the middle of the lane.
Yeah.
You're like, could you just
Get out of the way.
pick a lane?
Yeah.
Even? Like you can stand there and stare at the cereal all you want. Like I'm not rushing this process for you.
Exactly.
I don't like making decisions either. So I understand some take time, but please do not do it in the main line of traffic. Like
especially if there's like multiple people coming from different directions, and you're just like lingering in the middle of the aisle
because of Fruit Loops,
and you're like trying to make your choice, and people are trying to maneuver around you. Like you're just creating situational stress,
right? For like, no reason. Like you are driving me crazy.
Because they are not aware of what's going on, like completely just oblivious, or they are aware and they just like
don't care.
Like it's one or the other, you know. So like what? I don't know.
Can you be really mad if they're not aware?
I don't know. Probably not. I mean, it's just irritating for sure.
Still irritated.
Yeah, it's still going to irritate me whether they're aware that they're doing it or not.
Right.
What they're doing is still irritating to me.
That makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, I really have a pet peeve for slow walkers in the airport. General people in public that are not aware of how they're participating in the public. It's very
because you're contributing to this.
Yes,
right.
It's so irritating to me that people don't fucking pay attention sometimes.
No,
like, why?
Right.
It's so hard.
And it's hard to be mad because it's either they're not aware or they are aware and they just don't care.
Yes. And to me, it is such a thoughtless thing that comes to my brain.
Right.
I don't understand why people don't all just think that same way.
Why it's
Aren't
not
just
intuitive
everybody
to
is
you.
just aware
Right.
of people around you or how you're acting or anything like that.
Yeah, that's tough.
Pay the fuck attention.
In summary, pay the fuck attention.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up now from that. So we will catch you on the next one.
Thank you so much.
Ta-da!
Girl, did you hear?
Nah, girl, what?